Yeah, boy.
10 facts about constitutional rights. Number 1. The Constitution was drafted in Philadelphia in 1787 over the course of a humid summer. The windows of Independence Hall were shut to discourage eavesdroppers, and many delegates, who were mostly from out of town, wore and re-wore the same thick woolen garments day after day. Many framers stayed at the same boarding houses and shared rooms that, we can only imagine, reeked with a distinct ode to freedom. Number 2. The delegates didn't come to Philadelphia intending to write a new constitution. They came to tweak the Articles of Confederation, the original constitution written in 1777, and later ratified in 1781. But after some deliberation, the attendees realized that the articles were a mess and needed to be scrapped. One of the primary motivations for starting from scratch was money. At the time, the central government was mired in debt from the Revolutionary War. While the federal government could request money from the states, states were under no obligation to pay. A new constitution could change this. Number 3. According to Jonathan Elliott's debates, Elbridge Gerry was concerned that there was no check here against standing armies in time of peace, and proposed that there should not be kept up in time of peace more than 1,000 troops, with Elliott saying Gerry wanted the blank filled with 2 or 3. According to Constitution Facts, PDF, George Washington sarcastically agreed with this proposal as long as a stipulation was added that no invading army could number more than 3,000 troops. Number 4. At the time, an 81-year-old Benjamin Franklin was in awful pain. He had gout and could barely stand. Instead of walking, he arrived at Independence Hall on at least the first couple of days carried by 4 prisoners from the Walnut Street jail, who ferried him around the city in a sedan chair. Number 5. Of the 55 delegates who attended the Constitutional Convention, 34 were lawyers. Nearly all of them had previously held some kind of public office. This, of course, did not reflect the American electorate, a country of farmers. While 22 out of the 55 derived the majority of their income from farming, only one delegate, George's William Few, in any way represented farmers' interests, having been born into a yeoman farming family. But even Few was a lawyer and politician by this time. Number 7. You know names like George Washington and Benjamin Franklin, but let's give credit to 2 lesser known, but equally important, figures. Gouverneur Morris I, who wrote the preamble to the Constitution and is responsible for much of the document's wording, and Jacob Challis, the Pennsylvania General Assembly assistant clerk who actually held the pen. Challis was paid $30, about $900 today, for lending his penmanship. Number 8. When the Constitution was written, English spellings had not yet been standardized. As a result, the document contains odd spellings, British spellings, and peculiar words that might look odd today but were acceptable at the time. In the list of signatories, the word Pennsylvania is missing an N. In Article 1 Section 10, there's an errant apostrophe attached to what should be its. There are spellings such as defense or labor and even choose for choose. Number 9. Thomas Jefferson never signed the Constitution because he was busy serving as the minister to France in Paris. John Adams, who was serving as minister to Great Britain, never signed it either. A handful of founding fathers, such as George Mason, Elbridge Gerry, and Edmund Randolph were present for the signing but refused to touch the document. Others such as Samuel Adams, Patrick Henry, and John Hancock, whose signature was such a standout on the Declaration of Independence, simply did not attend. When Henry was asked why he declined to attend the convention, he supposedly said, "I smelled a rat." And number 10. 11 of 13 states ratified the Constitution in the months after signing, and North Carolina finally signed in November 1789. That left Rhode Island, which never sent a delegate to the Constitutional Convention, as the last holdout. The state opposed a strong central government and had to make 11 attempts to ratify the Constitution. Some votes weren't even close. One popular referendum finished with 237 votes for and 2,945 votes against. The vitriol was so intense that, when a group of Rhode Island Federalists began planning an ox roast to celebrate the document in 1788, An army of 1,000 angry armed men assembled to stop it. The event nearly sparked a civil war.
Yeah, boy.